My beloved child, there are moments in life when you believe you are walking in the safest place, surrounded by familiar faces, by hands that once touched you with intimacy, and by words that seemed filled with love. Yet it is precisely within that place you call home, within that circle you thought untouchable, that a trap is quietly being set. You do not see it, for it does not come clothed in monstrous shapes or the roar of an open enemy. Instead, it wears the mask of friendliness, hides behind a smile, and disguises itself with sweet promises. And then the Lord, who sees the hidden cracks of the human heart, lays bare before your eyes what you never could have imagined: schemes, not from strangers, but from those closest to you. It is easy to guard yourself against an outsider, easy to be wary of hands you have never known. But what you did not expect is that those who once sat at your table, who once shared meals with you, who once whispered words of encouragement in your weakness, could at the same time harbor envy, bitterness, and calculations to bring you down. The trap is not spread out in public, but woven in the secret chambers of the heart. It does not call out with visible weapons, but with half-truths and half-lies, with silence heavy with intent, and with glances that seem harmless. And in that very moment, heaven speaks. My child, stay awake, for this trap is not laid by outsiders, but by those you once called friends. You may shudder at this revelation. Your soul feels torn apart, caught between the trust you once gave them wholeheartedly and the truth now unveiled. Yet this shock itself is the medicine of awakening. It tears down fragile illusions so you no longer live by blind trust, but anchor your safety in the one who never changes. For he has spoken, I, the Lord, search the heart and examine the mind to reward each person according to their conduct, according to what their deeds deserve. Jeremiah 1:7-1:0. What is most terrifying is not the betrayal of strangers, but the silent complicity of those you believed belonged to you. There are those who still smile at you while measuring your every step within their hearts. There are hands that still clasp yours while at the same time seizing the chance to push you down the moment you falter. And you wonder, in anguish, why them? Why the one I once shared my secrets with? Why the one I once trusted? Yet heaven replies, because truth must be revealed, and darkness must be brought into the light, so that you no longer walk in delusion. Without exposure, you would remain deceived. Without light, you would continue nurturing decayed relationships under the illusion of purity. God does not uncover these things to shame you, nor to shatter your heart, but to guard you from a greater fall. He knows that if you continue placing your destiny in those hands, one day, you will be dragged into the abyss. Thus he himself tears apart the veil, allowing you to see what your natural eyes could not. Darkness is skilled at concealment. It knows how to choose its timing, how to disguise itself, how to play its role. But there is one thing darkness can never overcome: the all-seeing gaze of the Creator. When he shines his light, even the most intricate plans become clumsy, and the most calculated schemes are overturned. You may not always trust your instincts, but you can trust the voice of the Lord, and he is speaking clearly. This trap is not invisible to me. I see it, and I want you to see it too. The unveiling from heaven is not meant to instill fear, but to grant you new eyes. These eyes allow you to see through the masks. They enable you to discern where true love resides, and where manipulation is merely disguised in gentleness. Above all, they help you reset your focus not on people, but on the one who is always faithful. When you realize that the trap has been set by those closest to you, you learn the vital lesson that absolute trust must belong to God alone. You may feel pain when confronted with this truth, but consider this. If the Lord had not exposed it, how much further would you have wandered in deceit? If he had not pulled down the veil, how much longer would you have been entangled in unseen cords? And precisely at the moment you recognize the darkness within your inner circle, you begin to understand the worth of light. My child, let this pain become the beginning of wisdom. Do not let betrayal turn you into a bitter soul. Let it shape you into one of discernment. Do not allow the shock to break you down. Let it awaken you. For darkness holds power only when hidden. Once brought into the light, it loses its grip. And that is exactly what is happening. The Lord is revealing not to cause your collapse, but to make you stand firmer than ever before. My beloved, there are things the human eye cannot perceive. You only see what is displayed outwardly, but I perceive the depths of the heart. I hear every whisper spoken in secret. I witness every furtive glance exchanged, and I know every intent concealed behind a gentle face. Nothing escapes my gaze, for I am the one who searches hearts and weighs every motive. You are often captivated by appearances. A sweet word easily wins your trust, a friendly smile calms your spirit, a sympathetic touch convinces you it is true love. But I tell you, some smiles conceal bitterness, some handshakes disguise betrayal, and some tender words are woven only to blind you. Only I see everything, and now I am opening your eyes to see as well. Perhaps you will ask, Lord, why did you allow me to encounter such people? Why did you let me endure this wound? My child, it is because I love you that I permitted it, not to break you, but to mature you. Just as a seed cannot sprout unless its shell is cracked, you cannot enter into wisdom without the shock of exposure. I allow you to see truth so you may learn discernment, so you no longer live sustained by fragile illusions. Imagine yourself sitting in a darkened room where a play is being performed. Every role is disguised so skillfully that you believe it to be reality. But I, the light, suddenly switch on. Instantly the makeup peels away. False gestures are exposed and every line spoken feels hollow. You are startled, yet you are set free. You are no longer deceived by those roles. This is how I act. I shine the light to uncover what has been hidden. My child, do not think that this unveiling is the end. It is the beginning. I do not expose what is hidden to shame you, but to rescue you. I do not bring light to plunge you into despair, but to set you free. A relationship built on deceit, if never revealed, will only bind you tighter and tighter. But when truth comes forth, even if it hurts, it liberates you. Remember, this darkness only has power so long as it remains concealed. Once brought into the light, it is stripped of all strength. I know it pains you when the familiar faces around you no longer prove to be as genuine as you once thought. But understand this, that very pain will teach you how to walk with wisdom. I do not desire for you to live in suspicion, but rather to live in discernment. You will learn to distinguish a pure heart from a self-seeking intention. You will discover how to place your trust in me instead of clinging to people. When I allow the truth to be uncovered, it is because I am preparing you for a new journey. You will no longer be blindly naive. You will no longer be led astray by empty sweet words. You will know how to guard your heart, and you will come to understand that only I am your true and safe refuge. You may weep, but do not think your tears are in vain. I gather each one. Every tear is a seed sown, and it will sprout into wisdom, into clarity, into strength. One day you will look back and know that if today's unveiling had not taken place, you would have remained lost in that charade far longer. My child, understand this clearly. I never leave you alone in the dark. Even when you cannot see, I am still watching. Even when you cannot hear, I am still speaking. I see every step of those who try to set traps against you, and I turn things around so that you will not be consumed. I am not only the one who warns, I am the one who rescues. I do not merely expose deceit. I also grant you the chance to walk in truth. Therefore, do not be afraid when the curtain is pulled back. Do not panic when what you once believed is shown to be fragile. That is my mercy. I am clearing the path so that you may enter a new season with open eyes and a steadfast heart. I want you to become one who discerns, one who is mature, one who has endured pain, yet is not swallowed up by bitterness. My beloved, there are times you look around and it seems as though every way out has been shut. The snare they secretly laid appears to have tightened. And you begin to think, It is only a matter of time before you are caught. You see rumors spreading, suspicious eyes surrounding you, and you feel the weight of injustice pressing down. You begin to ask yourself, who will believe me? Who will stand with me? Who will understand my heart? But I tell you this, in that very moment when the trap seems ready to close, I step in. I will not allow you to be swallowed, for you belong to me. Remember, no plan can succeed if it stands against me. They may scheme in the shadows, they may calculate with precision, but they cannot surpass my sovereignty. Just when they think the net has fallen upon you, I breathe my breath and tear their cords apart. Just when they believe you have been cornered, I open a way no one anticipated. You may tremble when danger draws near, but I assure you their schemes cannot stand before my presence. You do not need to rush to explain yourself. You do not need to struggle to prove your innocence. For I myself will speak on your behalf. I will cause the truth to be revealed at the appointed time. The lies they wielded against you, I will transform into testimony of your integrity. Those who once doubted will have to recognize that you walked in uprightness. I am the righteous judge, and I will vindicate you in the sight of those who sought to bring you down. There are times I call you to silence, not because I have abandoned you, but because I am working in the silence. When you sit weeping under the weight of misunderstanding, it is in that very moment that I am moving hearts you cannot reach. When you remain quiet in the face of attack, it is in that very moment that I am arranging for the truth to resound louder than any defense you could ever offer. My child, my vindication is stronger and more enduring than any explanation human lips could give. I once vindicated Joseph when his brothers sought to bury his dream in the pit. I once vindicated David when the powerful slandered him, accusing him of rebellion. I once vindicated Daniel when men schemed to cast him into the lion's den, and I will do the same for you. I do not change yesterday, today, and forevermore. My child, you are never alone. I am beside you in every breath. I surround you with my angels, even when your natural eyes cannot see them. You think you stand alone before countless accusations, but in truth a host of heaven stands behind you, bearing witness that you belong to me. That snare is not set to destroy you, but to reveal my protection. All who look on will have to acknowledge that it was I who intervened to deliver you. Cease worrying about your reputation. True honor is not found in what others say, but in the seal I have placed upon you. When I call you beloved, no voice can erase that truth. When I set my blessing upon you, no power can withhold it. I will cause all to see the difference between you who walk in faithfulness and those who act in deceit. It will not be so that you are exalted, but that my name is glorified. My child, allow me to fight for you. Do not strive in your own strength. If you seek to retaliate, you will be drawn into the same spiral of darkness. But if you hand the burden to me, you will stand firm in peace. I will scatter their schemes. I will cause them to contradict themselves. I will sow confusion in their counsels, so that their alliance crumbles. And you will remain not with blood-stained hands, but with clean hands, proving that you have chosen my way. When the trap seems about to close, remember that I am the one who holds the keys. I can shut a door that no one can open, and open a door that no one can shut. I will open for you the door of deliverance, so that no one may claim it was their doing. All will be compelled to confess that it was the Lord God who intervened, and this will stand as proof that you are sheltered under my hand. My child, keep your heart in peace. You need not tremble before threats. You need not scramble to find a way to save yourself. I have already gone before you, clearing the path, preparing the way of escape. Even when you do not see, I am at work. Even when you do not hear, I am speaking. Even when you feel abandoned, I am right there beside you, whispering, "Do not fear, for I am with you." Beloved, there is an ancient truth that remains ever. New betrayal rarely comes from strangers. A stranger does not hold the place that can pierce so deep. Only those who once sat near you, who once shared bread with you, who once held your hand in moments of weakness, only they have access close enough to wound you. And this pattern has echoed throughout the history of humankind. Remember Joseph, the son to whom I gave a great dream. He was not struck down by strangers on the road, but by his own brothers. Those who should have defended him became the very ones who conspired against him. They envied the coat of many colors his father had given, but in truth, they despised the light I had placed within him. They could not bear what I had spoken over his life. They threw him into a pit, sold him to foreigners, believing they had ended the dream. But my child, that very pit became the gateway that led him to Egypt. That very betrayal became the path into his destiny, where he was appointed as the one to save nations from famine. What they meant for destruction I turned into an instrument of deliverance. And look at David, the one I called a man after my own heart. He was faithful in every song and every breath of worship, yet he too tasted the bitterness of betrayal. Saul, the very man he once served with all his heart, turned against him and sought his life. Even worse, his most trusted counselor, Ahithophel, regarded as a voice of wisdom and reliability, became the one who devised plans for the rebels. Do you see, my child? The wound did not come from a stranger's hand, but from the most familiar hand of all. Yet this did not bring David's journey to an end. On the contrary, betrayal refined his heart, teaching him to cling to me, all the more to recognize that the throne does not come from man, but from the one who grants authority. And in the end, I myself restored him, placing him upon the throne with a stability that no one could shake. Now look to my son Jesus, the embodiment of my love. He was not betrayed by outsiders, but by Judas, one of the 12 closest to him. The one who ate bread with him, who walked beside him, who heard every teaching, was the very one who sold him with a kiss. That kiss was not merely betrayal. It was a cruel mockery, turning the sign of friendship into a weapon of surrender. Yet even in that, my eternal purpose was never undone. The cross, born of schemes, rebellion, and betrayal, became the greatest symbol of salvation. Do you see, my child? What seemed like an ending became the doorway to eternal life for all nations. My child, I want you to understand this betrayal is not the end, but a stepping stone. It is like a fierce wind that may topple a young tree, yet at the same time drives its roots deeper into the soil. It is like a fire that can consume but also purify pure gold. I do not allow betrayal to destroy you, but to reposition you. Through it, you will learn a deeper faithfulness, a purer love, and an inner strength more unshakable than before. If Joseph had not been sold by his brothers, he would never have reached Egypt to become the keeper of grain. If David had not been driven from the palace, he would never have experienced my nearness in the wilderness, where he penned psalms that echo through generations. If Jesus had not been betrayed by Judas, the path to the cross would not have opened, and redemption would not have been completed. Do you see, betrayal is part of the script I use to usher you into destiny. Therefore, my child, when you face betrayal from those you love, do not think it is the end. I do not allow it to destroy you, but to place you where you could never reach on your own. What you lose will clear the way for something greater. What you thought was stolen will become the very substance of a stronger restoration. Do not let bitterness take root in your heart. Do not let betrayal harden you into coldness. Instead, let it be the place where you learn forgiveness, patience, and a deeper trust in me. For when you forgive, you reflect my very Son who prayed from the cross. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. My child, I declare to you today, betrayal will not kill your destiny. It will shape it, refine it, and draw you closer to me. Do not tremble when darkness seems to prevail. Remember that I turned darkness into the very stage where light shines brightest. I turned betrayal into the doorway to glory, and I will do the same for you. Beloved one, there is an ancient truth that remains ever new: betrayal rarely comes from strangers. Strangers hold no place deep enough to wound the soul. Only those who sat near you, who shared bread with you, who held your hand in your weakest hour, only they are close enough to cause that pain. And this has been the recurring pattern throughout human history. Remember Joseph, the son to whom I gave a great dream. He was not harmed by strangers along the road, but by his very own brothers. Those who should have defended him became the ones who conspired against him. They envied the multicolored coat his father had given him, but in truth they despised the light I had placed within him. They could not bear what I had spoken over his life. They threw him into a pit and sold him to foreigners, thinking that in doing so they had ended his dream. But my child, that very pit became the gateway that led him to Egypt. That very betrayal opened the path for him to step into destiny, the place where he was appointed to save nations from famine. What they intended for destruction I turned into an instrument of deliverance. And look at David, the one I called a man after my own heart. He was faithful in every song and every breath of worship, yet he too tasted the bitterness of betrayal. Saul, the very man he had served wholeheartedly, turned against him and sought to kill him. Worse still, his closest counselor, Ahithophel, regarded as a trusted source of wisdom, became the very one to devise counsel for his enemies. Do you see, my child? The dagger did not come from a stranger's hand, but from the most familiar one. Yet this did not end David's journey. On the contrary, betrayal refined his heart, teaching him to cling to me more deeply, to know that the throne is not given by man, but by the one who bestows authority. And in the end, I myself restored him, placing him upon the throne with a strength no one could overthrow. Now look to my only son, Jesus, the embodiment of my love. He was not betrayed by those outside the circle of disciples, but by Judas, one of the 12 most intimate with him. The one who had eaten bread with him, walked beside him, and heard every word of his teaching. This was the one who sold him with a kiss. That was not merely betrayal, but a piercing mockery, the sign of friendship turned into a weapon of surrender. Yet even then, my eternal plan was not undone. The cross, the product of conspiracy, rebellion, and betrayal, became the greatest symbol of redemption. Do you see, my child? What seemed to be the end became the beginning of eternal life for all humanity. My child, I want you to understand this betrayal is not the end, but a stepping stone. It is like a strong wind that can topple a young tree, yet also drives its roots deeper into the soil. It is like fire that can consume, yet at the same time refines pure gold. I do not allow betrayal to come in order to destroy you, but to reposition you. You will learn a deeper faithfulness, a purer love, and an inner strength that endures. If Joseph had not been sold by his brothers, he would never have arrived in Egypt to become the steward of grain. If David had not been driven from the palace, he would never have known the closeness of my presence in the wilderness, from which he penned psalms that echo through the ages. If Jesus had not been betrayed by Judas, the way to the cross would not have been opened and redemption would not have been fulfilled. Do you see it now, my child? Betrayal is part of the script I use to usher you into your destiny. Therefore, my child, when you face betrayal from those you love, do not think that it is the end. I have not allowed it to destroy you, but to position you in a place you could never reach on your own. What you have lost will clear the way for something greater. What you thought was stolen will become the very material for a stronger restoration. Do not let your heart grow bitter. Do not let betrayal harden you into someone cold and unfeeling. Let it become the place where you learn forgiveness, patience, and a deeper trust in me. For when you forgive, you become like my only son, who prayed upon the cross, saying, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." My child, I say to you today, betrayal will not kill your destiny. It will shape it, refine it, and bring you closer to me. Do not tremble when darkness pretends to prevail. Remember that I have turned darkness into the backdrop where light shines brightest. I have turned betrayal into the doorway to glory, and I will do the same for you. Beloved one, the pain you are going through is not a sentence meant to end you, but a furnace designed to refine you. I do not create sorrow to crush you, but I allow it to touch your life so that unnecessary layers may be stripped away, leaving you stronger and purer. Just as gold is tested in fire to remove its impurities, so your life is led through trials so that what is true, precious, and eternal may be revealed. You often see pain as an enemy, but I say to you, pain is a catalyst. It is the plow that breaks through hard soil, making way for new seeds to sprout. It is the drop of rain that falls into the parched pit, transforming what seemed hopeless into a stream of renewal. I do not let suffering imprison you, but I use it to reposition you, drawing you out of confinement and into a wider space you never imagined. Think of the pains in the body. When muscles are stretched in training, they ache, yet through that ache they grow stronger. When a bone breaks and then heals, the place of healing often becomes stronger than before. So it is with the pain in your soul. It may bring tears to your eyes, but it also opens your spiritual sight to behold what you could not see before. It may cause your heart to bleed, yet it is shaping that same heart to love with a maturity, depth, and wisdom that only suffering can teach. My child, I know you have often asked, Lord, why do you allow me to go through this pain? And today I answer you because I see what you cannot see. If you had not been wounded, you would have clung forever to what was unwilling to step out. If you had not tasted loss, you would never have discovered the power of restoration I placed within you. If you had not faced betrayal, you would never have learned discernment. I allow pain to serve as a mirror, reflecting what must change and guiding you deeper into the path of maturity. Pain is not meant to kill you, but to put to death the old self so that the new may rise. It is the death of blind naivety, giving way to awakened wisdom. It is the death of pride, making room for humility. It is the death of dependence on people, replacing it with steadfast trust in me. Do you see it now? Even when you think you are losing, you are actually being repositioned to become the very person I destined you to be. My child, picture a grain of wheat. If it remains sealed within its shell, it will forever be just a seed. But when its shell cracks open, when it falls into the ground and is buried, then life begins to burst forth. Pain is that breaking of the shell. You may feel exposed, pressed down, but it is precisely from that place that new life emerges, and the harvest can only come from seeds that have first been willing to break. I do not delight in seeing you in pain, but I rejoice when I see you being transformed through it. For I know that on the other side of your tears lies clarity. On the other side of your groaning lies praise. On the other side of your loss lies new abundance. Remember, this pain is temporary, but the transformation it brings is eternal. My child, do not run from pain. If you avoid it, you also forfeit the opportunity to be renewed. Let pain teach you. Let it carve its lesson deep into your soul that nothing can endure unless it is built on my foundation. Let it remind you that safety is not found in the arms of people, but in the arms of the one who never changes. Hear me, child. You will not be swallowed up by this pain. It only passes through. It will not remain forever. It is like the night seemingly long, yet dawn surely comes. It is like winter cold and harsh, yet spring will rise again. You will step out of this season not broken but stronger, not bitter but wiser, not hopeless but resilient. Pain is a springboard. It pushes you out of your comfort zone and carries you into new territories. It shatters false security so that you will not settle for small things, but will reach for the greater things I have destined for you. It is like a storm which seems destructive, but in truth sweeps away the debris so the land can be reborn more fertile than before. Therefore, my child, do not see pain as your enemy. See it as your teacher. It imparts what ease can never teach. It opens doors that comfort can never open. It matures you in ways peaceful days could never achieve. I say to you, be courageous in walking through pain, for beyond pain, you will discover new life. Beyond loss, you will find greater blessing. Beyond tears, you will see the smile I have prepared for you. Pain does not define you, but it will shape you. It does not kill you, but it will give you new birth. And then you will rise not as a trembling survivor, but as a warrior refined, bearing the mark of heavenly strength and wisdom. Whenever you think you have lost everything, look closer. What you call loss may only be a shell breaking open to reveal a greater reality. This door closing is not meant to abandon you in darkness, but to compel you into a new corridor you have never explored. What seems like loss is, in fact, my hand redirecting you from old paths toward the place, prepared for you to bear greater fruit. Remember, you cannot cling to what has passed and still hope to move forward. Some things must leave you so that you may walk lighter. Some relationships must end to protect you from perilous turns. Some dreams must pause to make room for greater ones. Therefore, instead of calling it loss, learn to call it a door. A door leading into the new, the things I have prepared, the very things that will help you understand why you had to walk through what has just passed. My child, hear this. No loss in me is meaningless. Even when you feel stripped bare, I am weaving a new robe for you. When you think you have been abandoned, I am widening my arms to draw you into deeper closeness. When you feel like a failure, I call it a beginning. Do you see the difference? Your eyes see an ending, but mine see the opening page of a new chapter. You may recall the times when doors suddenly closed before you. Perhaps it was a job you once longed for but could not attain. Perhaps it was a relationship you had hoped would endure, but ended in brokenness. Perhaps it was an opportunity you thought would change your life but slipped away. Each time you felt despair, believing you had chosen the wrong path. Yet, my child, I was there. I closed those doors, not because I despised you, but because I knew that if you continued through them, you would lose yourself. And the very moment one door shut, I was already opening another, the door that would lead you into safety, blessing, and your true destiny. The pain of loss will teach you to see with new eyes. Instead of asking, "Why did I lose this?" you will begin to ask, "What new thing is being opened for me?" Instead of mourning the door that closed, you will learn to focus on the door that is now ajar. And when you learn this, you will find hope sprouting right in the midst of loss. My child, I do not promise that you will never lose anything, but I promise that every loss will become the foundation for something greater. I do not promise that you will always hold on to what you cling to, but I promise that my hand will always lead you into what no one can ever take away from you. That is true peace, unshakable joy, and abundant life that no circumstance can consume. So let me redefine this for you. Loss is no longer a sign of failure, but a transition. It is no longer proof that you have been abandoned, but evidence that you are being led further. It is no longer despair, but a promise of hope. My dear child, from this moment on, whenever you face loss, remember, I am right there. When the old door closes, I am the one holding the key to open the new one. When you see darkness fall, I am the one lighting a lamp ahead of you. When you hear the sound of things breaking, I am the one rebuilding a firmer foundation. You will not be lost in despair if you keep your eyes fixed on me. Therefore, do not weep endlessly before the closed door. Do not chain yourself to memories of what has been lost. Lift up your head, for before you lies a new door, wider, brighter, stronger. And when you step through it, you will understand that I never took anything from you to harm you. I only removed what no longer fit in order to give you what is better, worthier, and lasting. My beloved child, in a world full of conflicting voices, I do not send you forth without spiritual armor. One of the most precious gifts I grant you is the gift of discernment, the ability to see through the mask, to recognize what is born of truth and what is only a false veneer. You cannot rely solely on natural eyes, for they are easily deceived by a smile, by words, by outward appearances. But spiritual eyes opened by my Spirit will see clearly what men try to conceal. Discernment is not the suspicion of everyone, nor a harsh gaze that locks your heart away. I do not desire you to become cynical, always viewing others through the lens of fear. On the contrary, discernment is light for your path, guiding you in wisdom, so that you do not stumble into snares nor reject those genuine ones I have sent to support you. Discernment teaches you to recognize the difference between true love and flattery, between faithfulness and exploitation, between humility and hypocrisy. Think of the bees. They know how to draw nectar from the flower, but they are not captivated merely by its colors. Not every flower holds sweetness, and not every bloom is worthy of their landing. In the same way, I give you discernment so you may choose what truly brings life and turn away from what only dazzles outwardly, but is empty within. My child, many times you blame yourself, asking, "Why did I trust the wrong people? Why did I allow myself to be hurt?" But I want you to know that you have not been abandoned. If in the past things seemed unclear, now I am bringing them into the light. I am opening your ears to hear what lies beneath the words. I am opening your eyes to see what lies behind the gestures. I am softening your heart so that you may sense the stirring of the Spirit, showing you what is true and what is false. Remember, this discernment is not only for others, it is also for yourself. I want you to discern the thoughts within your own heart to know which desires are born of the Spirit's leading and which are merely the ambitions of the flesh. When you learn to discern yourself, you will find it easier to discern others. For true light does not only shine outward, it also pierces inward. Consider the pearl. For a pearl to be formed, a tiny grain of sand must be covered by the shell, slowly refined through time. This is creation's silent act of discernment. From an ordinary grain of sand, through careful filtering and covering, comes forth a treasure. I want you to be like that, never swallowing everything that comes your way, but learning to filter, to protect, and to keep only what is truly precious. My child, I declare this to you: discernment will become your compass along this journey. When you stand at a crossroads, discernment will show you the path, not the path that seems attractive, but the one rooted in truth. When many voices call out, discernment will remind you which are the echoes of man and which are the voice of heaven. When you must choose companions, discernment will reveal who has truly been sent by me and who is only seeking their own gain. Do not think of discernment as a burden. In reality, it is your protection. It is like clear lenses cutting through the fog so you will not lose your way. It is like a lighthouse in the night guiding your vessel past the hidden reefs. It is like my very breath within you, whispering when to move forward and when to pause. You will no longer have to live in suspicion, for discernment from the Spirit brings clarity, not confusion. Be careful, my child, of what seems good but does not come from me. Not every door that opens is opened by my hand. Not every sweet word comes from true love. Not every invitation is born of blessing. But do not be afraid, for I am teaching you how to recognize. You will learn to discern by the peace within your soul. If peace departs from you, stop. If clarity comes, proceed. This is how I lead you. And remember, this discernment not only guards you from what is false, it also helps you cherish what is true. You will learn to treasure faithful hearts, pure friendships, and companions who are genuine. For when you know the value of truth, you will not easily lose it. You will honor what I place beside you, and you will know how to nurture bonds that endure. My child, I give you this gift not to keep you in fear, but to set you free, free from traps, free from deceit, free to recognize the path I have prepared, free to love without being exploited, free to stand firm amid a flood of lies. Therefore, open your heart to receive the gift of discernment as the priceless treasure at Island. Do not despise it, nor be afraid of it. Let it become your new eyes. For from now on you will no longer confuse truth with falsehood, light with darkness, loyalty with betrayal. You will walk in clarity, and that clarity will guard you from falling into the snares laid before you. Beloved child, there is one truth you must hold fast. To not everyone is destined to walk with you to the end of your journey. I know your heart is kind. You long to keep everyone by your side, to hold on to every relationship as though losing someone means you have failed. But I tell you this, it is not your fault when some depart. It is not because you are lacking nor because you have failed in love, but because their season of walking with you has come to its close. Think of the train, my child. Some people will only travel with you for a few stops before stepping off to continue their own path. Some will stay longer, but even they will eventually leave. Only a very few will journey with you all the way to the final station. You cannot hold on to those whose time has come to depart. If you try to keep them, you will slow down the train, and you yourself will not reach the destination I have appointed. Their departure is not a failure, but part of the divine arrangement. My child, I know you often blame yourself. Was I not good enough for them to stay? Did I do something wrong? Today I say to you, no, you are not the reason. I allow certain relationships to break apart because I see what you cannot. If they remained, they would weigh down your steps or pull you off course. Some people are placed in your life only for a season, and when that season ends, I take them away. Like an old tree shedding its leaves each year, not because it is dying, but because it must make room for new shoots, so it is with your life. You cannot call the shedding of leaves a failure. It is the natural cycle that allows the tree to grow stronger. In the same way, when certain people leave your life, it is not a deficiency, but my way of clearing the space around you so that new things may emerge. My beloved child, I want to free you from the burden of guilt. You have told yourself many times, I should have tried harder, I should have held on, but no one can hold what I have chosen to release, and no one can take away what I have ordained to remain. Do not see yourself as a failure for being unable to keep everyone. That is not your task. Your task is to walk with me. Who stays and who leaves is for me to decide. Look back at history. Abraham had to part from Lot before he could enter the promised land. Moses had to climb Mount Sinai alone while the people remained at the foot. David had to be separated from close companions in order to ascend to the throne. And Jesus, even he, when he entered Gethsemane, was left with only a few disciples, and soon after, he walked the path of the cross alone. Not because they did not matter, but because his destiny could not be shared with all. Do you see? This is the pattern I have used throughout history. My child, there are people I place beside you only to support you in a season. When their assignment is complete, they must go. Others come to test your heart, and when the lesson ends, they too depart. Still others come to plant a seed within you, but not to witness the harvest. And this is not loss. It is a cycle. Do not linger in sorrow at closed doors, for it is precisely when one door closes that another opens. I declare to you from now on, do not carry the burden of keeping everyone. You are not called to be everything for everyone. You are called to be faithful to what I have placed in your hands. When someone leaves, let them go in peace. When someone's role is finished, release them without resentment. Their departure does not halt your journey. On the contrary, it makes way for you to move forward more swiftly. My child, I am calling you higher, farther, but not everyone is ready to climb to that height. Do not try to drag them along, for it will exhaust you. When I lift you to a new level, I will also place new people by your side, pure hearts, faithful companions willing to carry the cross with you. Trust that I will never let you walk alone, but I will not permit you to walk with those who were never meant to stay. My child, be at ease. Do not let the departure of someone cause you to lose your direction. Remember this: not everyone who begins with you will also finish with you. That is not a failure, it is a divine arrangement. When you look with spiritual eyes, you will see that farewell is not a sign of loss, but a sign that you are stepping into a new season. Therefore, be courageous and let go. Do not cling to what I am cutting away. Do not hold on to ties whose time has ended. Trust that every time I take something away, it is because I am about to give you something better. And when you choose to put your trust in me, you will discover peace, even in the midst of separation. My child, I declare to you, it is not your fault when some people leave you. It is not your shortcoming when certain relationships come to an end. These are simply signs that I am leading you into a new season, where you will meet those who truly belong to the journey of your destiny. My beloved one, I know you have been wounded by circles of the past, where those you trusted betrayed you, where the hands you thought would lift you up turned out to be the hands that pushed you down. I know those experiences left scars upon your heart, making you cautious, hesitant to open yourself, even doubting whether anyone can truly be trusted. But today I say to you, do not allow the old shadows to shut the door against the new light. For I myself am building around you a new circle, one made of hearts that are pure, faithful, and led by my Spirit. Understand this, I do not intend for you to live isolated, fighting every storm alone. You were created to walk in community, to have companions who love you not for what you possess, but for who you are. I know you have seen false relationships, but do not let that cause you to deny the worth of what is genuine. I still have faithful ones, pure-hearted souls, and I am preparing them to step into the circle that surrounds you. Picture a garden after the winter. Many trees appear, withered leaves, fallen branches, broken. Yet when spring comes, I cause new shoots to sprout, blossoms to open, and life to fill what once looked barren. So it will be in your life. The old circle may have broken down, but I will not let that emptiness remain forever. I will fill it with those I have chosen, just as fresh green shoots replace the dry, broken branches. My child, I want you to believe again. Not with blind trust, but with the discernment I have given you. I want you to open your heart, for if you keep it locked, even those I send to strengthen you will not be able to reach you. I do not want you to let old wounds block the new things I am bringing. Allow me to heal you, and when I heal you, be ready to open wide your heart to welcome the new circle. Those I place around you in this season will be different. They will not seek profit from you, for they know their source comes from me. They will not compete with your light, but rejoice to see you grow in grace. They will weep when you hurt, rejoice when you rejoice, and intercede for you in the moments you feel weak. This is not a circle built on exploitation, but a circle I weave together with true love. My child, I know your fear. What if they turn out like those before? But I say, I am the one choosing with my own hand. As the potter selects the finest clay to shape a vessel, so I am choosing each person I place in the seasons of your life. You do not need to strive to search for them. Simply walk faithfully in your calling, and I will bring them to you. You will be amazed at how I work through meetings that seem accidental, connections that appear at just the right time. Hearts that suddenly bond with yours through a spiritual connection that defies explanation. My child, understand this, the new circle will not be large, but it will be deep. I am not giving you a crowd for display, but faithful companions with whom you can journey far. You will see that quality matters more than quantity. One faithful friend is worth more than 100 who walk with you only for their own gain. Remember that even my only begotten Son did not seek the multitude. He chose only 12. And within those 12 there were 3 who were closer still. He focused on depth rather than breadth. I will do the same with you. I will place around you a small circle, yet it will be a circle that endures. And from that place of strength you will have the power to influence many others. My child, when I establish this new circle, I want you to cherish it and nurture it. Do not allow old suspicions to intrude. Do not view new people through the lens of past wounds. Give them the chance to prove the faithfulness of their love. And learn to love them with a heart that has been refined and purified. Beloved one, I declare to you, prepare to receive. You will see that I am sending friends who do not seek to control you, but to encourage you. You will see that I am placing by your side those who do not drain your energy but strengthen you. You will see that I am surrounding you with hearts that intercede, that guard your honor, and that rejoice in your success. This is the circle I am building, and it will be a safe refuge for you in the storms of life. Therefore, do not fear loss. Do not cling with regret to the circles that have broken apart. I am replacing, I am renewing, and what is new will far surpass what has passed away. You will no longer be exploited, no longer betrayed, no longer walking in anxious hesitation. You will relearn how to trust, how to love, how to bond, without fear of being wounded. For this circle is not of your making, but crafted by my very own hand, my child. I know there are times when you feel restricted, when you sense I am holding you back from certain paths, certain relationships, certain opportunities. You think I am stripping away your freedom. But today, I tell you this: true freedom is not the ability to run anywhere you wish, but the assurance of being kept safe in my love. Just as a child plays freely in a garden, fenced in, laughing and running without fear, that fence keeps them from the cliffs, from wild beasts, from dangerous roads, so it is with you. I place the fence of my love, not to confine you, but to let you live joyfully in safety. I am jealous when you give your heart to what is unworthy. I am jealous when you place your trust in human hands more than in mine. I am jealous when you seek the approval of the world and forget that I have already called you beloved. Yet this jealousy is not to punish you, but to draw you back, to stir you, to remind you that you belong to me. Beloved child, look back at the times I kept you from a relationship that seemed good, but later you discovered it hid deceit. That was not cruelty, it was jealous love. Remember the doors I closed when you longed to walk through them, only to see later that they led to destruction. That too was my jealous love. Every time I said no, it was to preserve you whole. Every time I cut something away, it was to shield you from the infection of lies. Hear this: my love is never half-hearted. I will not share your heart with idols, nor with relationships built on falsehood. You cannot hold my hand while also clinging to the hand of darkness. For I know this: if your heart is divided, you will be the one to suffer. I love you far too much to stand by and let that happen. My child, my jealousy is also the seal of your worth. People are only jealous over what they deeply treasure. If you held no value, I would let you go. But because you are precious in my eyes, I will not permit deceit to claim you. I will not allow you to be swallowed by what is shallow, because I have destined you for a purpose that is profound, enduring, and eternal. My beloved child, I speak to you. The wisdom I give you does not come from men, nor from books, nor from the experience of this world, but from heaven itself. It rises far above the narrow calculations of human thought, surpasses common formulas, and carries within it the power to open doors that no human hand can reach. Remember, human understanding relies on what the eyes can see and the ears can hear. It analyzes, compares, and weighs, but it is still bound by what is in front of it. The wisdom that comes from me is like a spring in the desert, creating a path where none exists, lighting the way in the midst of darkness. This wisdom is not given merely to help you survive, but to enable you to live with surpassing clarity, walking through this life as a lamp that cannot be hidden. My child, how many times have you found yourself before difficult choices, confused and unsure of which path to take? If you lean only on your own reason, you will be unsettled, for every choice has both gain and loss. But wisdom from heaven does not come through confusion. It comes through clarity. It does not burden you with doubt, but fills you with deep peace. For I have declared the wisdom from above is first pure, then peace-loving, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruit. James 3:1-7. The wisdom I grant you is not simply to discern right from wrong, but to recognize what I have chosen even when both paths seem good. The world can only analyze data, but you will be guided by my voice. When you listen, wisdom will whisper within you, "Take this way, not that one." And you will see that even if your decision is misunderstood by others, in the end, it will reveal my glory and bring blessing to you. Beloved child, wisdom from heaven is also the weapon that helps you overcome snares. Intricate schemes may hide from human eyes, but they cannot escape the wisdom of the Spirit. I will warn you with unease in your heart when you are about to step into danger. I will show you signs others overlook. I will open your spiritual eyes so that you may clearly see which path leads to life and which leads to ruin. The wisdom I give is not like the cunning of deceit. The world teaches you to use tricks to gain advantage, to conceal in order to profit, but that is not wisdom, it is falsehood. True wisdom requires no scheming, for it is built on truth. It does not force you to bow to the darkness. Rather, it compels the darkness to retreat before the light. Remember Solomon, who asked for wisdom instead of wealth or fame. I made him the wisest man of his time, so much so that kings and rulers from all nations came to hear his words. But what made him great was not natural intelligence, but the wisdom that came from me. And today I say to you, that same wisdom I am ready to give to you, if you seek me with a sincere heart. Do not think that the wisdom from heaven is reserved only for the mature in faith. It is for all who long for it and yield themselves to me. I do not grant it so that you may boast, but so that you may be equipped. You will no longer live merely to withstand storms, but to master your steps in me. You will not simply survive, but will live abundantly, because you are walking with vision that transcends human limitation. This wisdom will set you apart. Others may rush after their emotions, but you will stand firm in peace. Others may fall into traps out of haste, but you will hear my voice telling you to pause. Others may rely on the crowd, but you will walk in step with heaven's call, and in the end you will see enduring fruit. My child, I say to you, seek this wisdom as you would silver, pursue it as if you were digging for gold. Desire it more than recognition, for it will keep you from falling. Value it more than power, for it will lead you to life. Let my wisdom be the lamp to your feet and the light to your path. And be at peace, for I do not grant wisdom once and then withhold it. I will continually add to you, day by day, as long as you remain in communion with me. When you ask, I will answer. When you listen, I will guide. When you obey, I will open even more to you. You will discover that your journey is no longer veiled but illuminated, because wisdom from heaven is directing every step. My beloved, I declare to you, this is a time of recreation, not merely repair. I do not patch up the broken fragments within you, nor do I simply stitch together the torn places of your soul. I renew the whole being, like a potter who breaks a cracked vessel, kneads the clay again, and fashions a new jar, more beautiful, more resilient than before. That is how I work in you in this season, a complete transformation, so that you no longer walk in an old identity, but in the divine strength I impart. You once believed that your losses, the wounds you carry, had left you diminished. You once thought that the fractures of your soul were proof that you were unworthy to be used. But I say to you, I am making all things new. No crack within you will remain a mark of shame, for I will turn them into testimonies of restoration. No scar will leave you in humiliation, for they will become living evidence of my healing power. My child, the transformation I bring is not only a shift in how you think, it is a reshaping of your very nature. I place within you a new mind, no longer imprisoned by fear. I place within you a new heart, no longer hardened by betrayal. I place within you a new spirit, strong and steadfast in the midst of storms. This is not a temporary garment draped upon you. It is a new essence born of the life of the Spirit. Look back upon the path you have walked. What you thought was collapse was, in truth, the process of clearing, so I could begin the work of building anew. Just as an old crumbling structure must be torn down to make room for something stronger, I have allowed certain things in you to break, so that now I may establish you as a vessel of glory. You are no longer the old self with minor adjustments. You are a new creation in me. Beloved, this recreation is also an empowerment. It gives you a new posture, no longer bent by shame, but standing tall in the worthiness I bestow. It gives you a new voice, no longer trembling, but resonating with authority from heaven. It gives you new steps, no longer groping in darkness, but walking with strength in the light. You will come to know that you are not merely surviving, but being sent forth. I have not called you merely to exist. I have called you to reign in the sphere I have entrusted to you. This transformation will impart to you the mindset of a conqueror, no longer the mentality of a victim. It will plant within you courage to face challenges you once avoided. It will enable you to look into the mirror and see not weakness, but the new image. I have inscribed the image of one beloved, chosen and equipped. Remember, when I transform, I overlook nothing. I do not only touch your spirit, but also your emotions, your will, and your thoughts. I renew the way you see the world, the way you engage with others, and the way you respond to adversity. Once a harsh word could crush you, now you will stand firm, knowing your value comes not from human voices but from my call. Once a loss could drown you in despair, now you will recognize the new doors I am opening. Once you trembled at the darkness, now you will enter and carry the light. This, my child, is empowerment. I place in your hands spiritual weapons, not only to defend, but also to advance. I give you words sharp as a sword, so you may declare truth. I give you faith as a shield, so that every flaming arrow of the enemy will fall powerless. I give you peace as sandals, so that you may walk without weariness. And I wrap you in the robe of righteousness, so that you are covered, and no accusation can bring fear. My beloved, this transformation will astonish others. They once saw you in frailty, but now they will see you standing firm in strength. They once thought you would be destroyed, but now they will see you radiant, resilient, and full of life. They will ask, "What has happened to you?" And the answer will be simple: I have recreated you. So, my child, take courage and step into the new self I have given you. Do not cling to old images. Do not call yourself by the names others have branded upon you. You are no longer the betrayed, but the restored. You are no longer the victim, but the warrior. You are no longer the wanderer, but the one who is sent. Clothe yourself with your new identity and walk forward with holy confidence. For I declare the old has passed away, and all things have been made new. And this newness is not only so that you may live differently, but so that you may walk in authority, in light, and in the mission I have appointed for you. You are not only saved, but also empowered. You are not only healed, but also sent. You are not only lifted up, but also prepared to lift others. My child, receive this transformation. This is your moment. This is the season in which I rebuild you, that you may become a living testimony of my power. And as you walk in divine confidence, the whole world will know that you are no longer the same. You are a new creation, remade in me, to fulfill the glorious work I have destined. Beloved one, I say to you, your life is a living symphony, and I, myself, am the conductor. You often see your experiences as scattered fragments, joy in one place, pain in another, betrayal here, and miracles there. But in my hands, all those fragments are arranged and woven together into a melody with the power to move hearts. Listen closely, my child. Every laugh you have ever known, I turn into soaring notes of hope. Every tear you have shed, I shape into deep, resonant tones of strength. Every fall you have endured is like an unexpected pause, yet it keeps the music from monotony. Every time you rise again is a triumphant refrain, lifting the entire symphony higher. Do you see? Even what once seemed meaningless is contributing to a masterpiece in my hands. My child, a symphony is not made of gentle sounds alone. It needs strong notes, urgent rhythms, and sudden silences to stir the deepest emotions. So it is with your life. If everything were easy, it would be flat without depth. But the mixture of pain and joy, of loss and restoration, creates the kind of spiritual depth the world cannot imitate. That is why the music of your life touches others, because it rings with authenticity, not pretense. I have heard the cries of your heart. Why did you let me go through so much? And I answer, because I want your life to become a song of healing for many. Others may learn from books, but only the melody that rises from a broken heart has the power to mend broken hearts. You have known darkness, so when you sing of light, your song carries authority. You have known betrayal, so when you speak of forgiveness, your words carry liberating power. You have known weakness, so when you testify of strength, all who hear will know it is not your own, but mine. Picture this. My child, when the orchestra rises, each instrument carries its own voice. The violins are gentle, the brass resound with might, the drums thunder, the flutes sing with clarity. If only one sound were heard, the music would be impoverished. But when all are brought together under the direction of the conductor, they form a masterpiece. So it is with your life. Every experience, beautiful and painful alike, becomes an instrument in my hands. I orchestrate them together, and the music rises, not for you alone, but for the souls who are listening. Child, know this: the symphony of your life is never meant only for your own ears. It was written to echo, to spread, to awaken hearts that lie dormant in despair. When someone hears the music flowing from your story, they will realize they are not alone. They will realize that if I can turn your life into melody, I can do the same for theirs. Do not be ashamed of the low notes in your song. Do not think they lessen your worth. On the contrary, those very notes add depth, moving listeners to tears. And do not boast over the high notes, for they were not created by your own hand, but written by mine into your score. Learn to accept every note, both high and low, for all are essential to the greatness of the work. Do you see? When I make your life into a symphony, I do not erase your past, I redefine it. Wounds do not vanish, but they become echoes. Suffering is not buried, but it becomes the foundation. Joy is not fleeting, but preserved as bright melodies. All coexist and all declare my glory. My child, let the music play. Do not be silent out of fear of judgment. Do not hide it, thinking your past makes you unworthy. When you open your mouth to testify, when you recount your journey, that is when the symphony begins to resound. And I will use its sound to heal, to strengthen, and to call wandering souls back home. I declare to you, you are a living testimony, a symphony of restoration. You do not need to become someone else. You only need to be who you are, yet the self that has been remade by me, arranged by me, and kept in my rhythm. Every breath, every step, every word you speak can become a note in this great symphony. And as it rises, the world will recognize my presence in you. Therefore, my child, lift your head high. Walk no longer as one silenced, but as a bearer of heaven's music. Let the sound of your life reach the darkest places. Let it awaken souls thought to be mute. Let it prove that no pain is wasted. No loss is meaningless. All have become melody, and that melody will echo for eternity. May the Lord's word always remind you to live each day in His faith and love. Press, follow, and turn on the bell, so you will not miss the divine and meaningful messages He longs to share with you. May God bless you. Amen.